All right, everybody, welcome back to the Lions Pit podcast. I am your host, Nick Gomez. With me today is my good friend, Michael Palser. How are you, sir?
I am wonderful. Very, very happy to be here.
Yeah,
Thank
happy
you.
to have you on, man. We've been trying to plan this for a little while, and you were out of town recently, and I had guests lined up, so this is perfect timing for us to come in at this moment and make the magic happen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how would you went up to Colorado?
Colorado, Wyoming, and Nebraska.
Ah,
That's where I grew up in the formative years.
yeah, yeah, and that's where you were just at on your trip. Those three locations.
Yeah, a little bit in Wyoming, but mainly Nebraska to see my mom and grandma, and
Okay.
then back to Fort Collins. I did some workshops and saw the old clientele and the friends, and honestly, it made me realize why I came here. Nothing
Ah,
against all of my time in Fort Collins, but it was just when I got back here, I knew, like, this is home.
yeah.
This is home. This is the next phase of my life.
For sure. Yeah, I remember having that realization too. Like when I first moved out here in 2020, and then really more so in 2021 because that's when I started at Onnit and like moved up to Austin from New Braunfels. And I remember going back to Albuquerque, and as familiar as it felt, it still didn't feel like home anymore. Like I was like, yeah, Austin's home. Like this is where I'm meant to be. This is where I'm supposed to be. Um, so that's cool that you like go back and you're like, because that's always what you think about, like, oh man, I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna fall in love with it all over again,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna reminisce so much, and then you go back and like you had a great time, but you're like, all right, yeah, this isn't home anymore.
It's like the ex-girlfriend.
That's kind of like what I was like hinting towards. It kind of is like when you go home and you see that girl that you used to date, and you're like, oh man, things were good, and then you're like, no, I've moved on. I'm on to bigger, better things now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was the gym you were at up there? That looked very nice. And
Okay, this most recent trip?
yeah, this most recent trip, you were
Yeah,
posting
that
about doing some stuff on some Kaiser equipment, and I
mhm.
love Kaiser equipment.
Yeah, I was highly impressed,
Mm.
not only with just the equipment, but like what they're doing there. So it's Pursuit Sports Performance. I think it's Sports Performance, but it's called Pursuit. And they had a facility when I lived there,
And this is in FOCO or Fort
very
Collins?
close to, yeah,
Okay.
Windsor, just south of Fort Collins. But it's legit. It's a little bit more sports performance based than on it, but very, very similar vibe.
Okay.
Full basketball courts. It used to be like a soccer and baseball training facility, and they completely revamped it, kept the turf areas, but
Man, if they're training baseball and soccer, it must be a pretty huge facility.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. High ceilings, just big, and then they have like a member base too, so you can go there and work out. So there's a kinda like a main gym, sports performance, and then they have some really cool stuff that we don't have at
Yeah.
On It, and so I'm like,
Which is
"Oh."
rare because there's a few things that we don't have it on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kaiser being one of those, and
Oh,
then
man, I've been trying to get Kaisers for years.
they have a lot of those, digital, like, clocking
Oh, yeah,
for
like laser
birds.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But not that we need that there, but it was
Yeah.
cool.
Fortunately, I mean, there used to be like a fair amount of like, combine training at
Mhm.
On It. Like, so we had some coaches that were working with some football players back in the day. That's not really something that we do a lot of anymore. So like, yeah, you get rid of like the laser timers and stuff like that. We still have like the jump mats and whatnot. But yeah, when you see that kind of stuff, you're like, oh, y'all are training some athletes around here.
Mhm.
What
Exactly.
was the name of it again? Pursuit.
Pursuit.
Okay, good to know. Because I love Denver. I actually don't think I've ever actually been to Fort Collins. Maybe once or twice. But like anytime you see a gym like that, you're like, oh, I kind of want to go check it out.
Yeah, I was impressed. I actually wanted to do my workshop there, and it
Uh,
just didn't work out. Well, they want me to come back next time.
I was gonna say, did you guys discuss a follow-up
Mhm.
trip?
Yeah,
Nice.
so that was fruitful. But yeah, it was good, man, and that's kind of my ethos when I travel. I'm going to visit gyms.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, that's just what it is. It's part of it, and it's always an adventure.
Yeah, that's funny. Maybe that's just a common thing within the industry, but when I travel, I'm looking for the nicest gym I can go to. I wanna train at a high level facility because I've been in a high level facility for so long now.
Mhm.
But B, I'm like, what are they doing that we're not? Or what are they doing that I'm not? You know, and that's one of the biggest things. I remember one of the first times I
Nailed it.
came out to, yeah, one of the first times I came out to On It, I ended up training at a different gym that's no longer around, but it was a pretty good facility. I liked it a lot. Um, but I think there was like a certification going on that weekend. So like the open gym space was limited on it. So I got to pass to another place. And it was one of those things where I was watching like their coaches and good and bad, every and indifferent. Like I was like, okay, like that's interesting. That's interesting. But you go to a place like an Onnit or any of these other like high level facilities, like coaches that are there for a reason. Like
Mhm.
there's something you can learn from everybody. I'm not going to go to like a Gold's Gym and like I might subconsciously be watching trainers, but if I go to like a Gold's Gym or any sort of like box gym, I'm more so just to get my lift and get out of there. Like I'm not trying to like observe and see like, oh, what are they doing that we're not? It's like, nah, it's something like that. I'm kind of just looking for a
Mhm.
pump. But if I go to like an Alpha Land outside of Houston, or if I go to like the UFC Performance Institute, or if I go to Exos, I'm very much watching their coaches and like trying to get close enough where I can hear like their cues and it's not like a imitation thing, but it's like, why not like, maybe he said something that his client reacted to, like, maybe he used an analogy that his client reacted to better, and I should try using that same cue with my coach or with my clients.
So true, and it's part of my philosophy is always learning,
Mhm. Yeah,
always learning.
it's like martial artist.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, and to break down walls, there's a stigma, you go into a new gym and you obviously know what you're doing, it looks like you know what you're doing. Sometimes you get the, like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah.
I like to break down walls and be like, "Hey, I'm new, show me some stuff," and that's how I got on that Kaiser equipment.
Oh, no way.
'Cause this kid was working out and it said
Was he an
you
employee or just a
yeah,
okay.
and the equipment said you have to work with a trainer to get on.
Thank
Eh
God, dude. That's so smart for Kaiser equipment,
Yeah.
that's so smart.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's expensive.
Yeah, and I went up to him and I was like, "Hey, do you think you could run me through this?" And he was a little skeptical, and I was just like, "I understand if you can't, but if you could, like, just coach me."
Yeah.
And we ended up becoming friends, and it was a human moment.
Yeah,
It was
which is
amazing.
beautiful, yeah. That's exciting. Was that your first time, getting on some Kaiser stuff?
No, I jumped on 'em at a fitness convention and had my mind blown
Oh,
because I
man.
was like I didn't know what they were, and so I was thinking, "I'm just gonna hammer it," and it'll wreck you, man.
It's different.
It's
Yeah, that
legit.
constant resistance of, like, the air compressor,
Mhm.
I remember going to so Kaiser took myself and several other coaches from, Performance Ranch in Albuquerque. Kaiser took us out to the Exos headquarters in Phoenix, and we for the weekend, we just got to, like, demo stuff with one of the head coaches at Exos, and we're just using all the Kaiser equipment. And it was one of those things, the one thing that always stuck out to me is he had us doing RDLs. He's like, "Alright, do an RDL with the" because they had full, like, squat racks that were equipped with Kaisers.
Mhm.
He's like, "Do an RDL with the Kaiser cuffs on and, like, just hit a couple reps." And then he's like, "Alright, now take the cuffs off and hit a couple more reps." I think he might have even put it in up to, like, an equivalent weight, like, on the barbell after they took the Kaiser cuffs off. Um, and there was a moment of inertia at the top where you, like, stand up out of that RDL and, like, it just felt like the bar was floating after he took the Kaiser stuff off, and I was like, "Man, that's a big difference to have that constant resistance of the air compressor." You can kind of simulate it with bands, but obviously that weight's gonna undulate, like, the further away
Mhm.
you get away from the anchor
Mhm.
point and the closer you get to it. So the Kaiser having that, like, constant resistance, that you can control and, like, set is a game changer. And especially when you look at, like, the rotational work that you can get into if you have, like, the Kaiser with, like, the pulleys, um, man, for, like, baseball players, fighters, golfers, like, there's so much stuff you can do on those. And then obviously all the other stuff because 'cause you're on, like, a hack squat machine, right?
I was on, like, I call it, like, a knee drive or a hip drive, so it
Okay.
was all just like a sprinting form. So it was
Okay.
knee flexion, knee extension, and then the really cool aspect he showed me was stepping to the side and just doing one leg,
Nice.
So it was just a different feel in the dashboard
Yeah.
because you can see your output, and then it shows you how much behind your output you are, and so it was like go, go, go until you're no longer increasing output, and then that's your max.
Yep.
So we could talk for days on that, but
Yeah, it's a dope system, and, like, again, be able to check your, like, wattage, like, your power output, you have that instant feedback of, like, "Oh, that rep wasn't as good," or you have that, prolonged feedback of, like, "Okay, my reps are no longer quality, like, I'm consistently not hitting the numbers I was
Mhm.
hitting earlier."
Yeah,
Which
man.
in lifetime is I mean, there's so much benefit there, and especially when you look at trying to not overtrain athletes, like fighters, like, there's no point if their numbers are slowly dropping on the wattage, like, there's no point to continue to do that, you
Yeah.
know?
I love having been in the game this long and seeing it's always been science backed, right?
Mhm.
Just not available to us, like the Gen Pop. But now there's so much more of the science of sport and fitness available to us.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Oh, dude,
As
it's
a
such a
coach, you get
fun
to
time to be
learn
a
more,
coach,
you get
yeah.
to see more, you get to be a part of more, and then you get to teach your people more about their body
Yeah.
because it's backed.
Right, yeah, yeah, be like,
You
"Alright,
know?
this is, like, what we're doing to get better at this, and here's why." Because and you
Mhm.
have X, Y, and Z examples that you can show them, or different doctors, or even, like, podcasters that they're listening to, like, "Oh, this is" Dr. Andy Galpin said that you should be doing this versus this. I remember how old are you?
43.
43, so I'm 37, so we were roughly high schoolish around the same time. Um, I remember, like, when I was in high school talking about creatine, and people are like, "Oh, don't take creatine." A, people are like, "Is it steroids?"
Mhm.
B, other people are like I remember, my science teacher who was not fit at all, and she was like, "Oh, your body naturally makes creatine, like, you shouldn't be taking creatine because then your body will stop producing it, blah, blah, blah." Kinda like testosterone or something.
Mhm.
And so, like, I always kinda was hesitant, and I remember the first time I took creatine, totally unrelated, I had a wicked cramp after baseball practice that day, and I know for sure I was just dehydrated because I drank a gallon of water a month maybe in high school. I did not drink enough water. And, I remember cramping up and I was like, "Oh, man, I shouldn't take creatine, like, I'm cramping up." And now the science is just totally different on that. Like, everyone should take creatine, no matter what your age is, boy or girl, like, take creatine.
Mhm.
And that was just not the science back in the day. Or it might have been, and we just didn't have access to it because there wasn't really social media back then. We didn't have
Exactly.
that instant, like, "Oh, let me ask Chat GPT, should I take creatine?" It's like, no, you're just kinda going off of, and at that age, you're like, "I'm listening to my elders. I'm talking to my adults here."
Or the magazines, because it was all magazines.
Yeah, man. That was a big thing back in the day. Yeah. Probably not so much anymore again with the, depth of the internet now. It's like, are magazines even made? I have no idea. I can't tell you last time I bought one.
Yeah, me neither. And that's the power of this setting.
Yeah.
It's like, in my mind, I feel storytelling is and has been around for thousands of years, and it should be.
Mhm.
We're in it right now.
Yeah.
Podcasters and the hate them, like them, whoever is your jam, it's storytelling.
Yeah.
Some of them have different agendas, but, that's what I love about this is just let's have conversations again,
Yeah, right. Let's have conversations,
you
let's
know?
get people's stories out there because the one thing that, like, I'm always kinda big on, and we'll kinda get into this with your stories, like, what obstacles did you face, and, like, what was the whole reason behind the name of the podcast, and I've told this many times, but there's a biblical story of a guy pursuing a lion into a pit and slaying the lion, and that kinda became his, like, the beginning of his hero's journey, and he
Mhm.
becomes a big figure within, like, King David's army. But that's what I wanna talk to people about, is, like, what was your lion that you pursued that most people would have ran away from? Like, what was your challenge that would probably be too tough, whether mentally, physically, whatever, spiritually, for the common person that's, like, happily living their life just pushing a pencil 40 hours a week. Like, I want people that are doing stuff outside of that, and through challenges, through great times, like, they are just staying true to their journey.
Yeah. Well, I thought about this, and I think that it's important to tell that it's all from athletics.
Oh, yeah? Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
let's how'd
sports,
you get
man.
started? Let's get into this.
Yeah, I mean, I just loved sports playing sports growing up, and it was everything.
Yeah, what'd you play?
Growing up in the middle of Nebraska, that's all we had,
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like hunting, farming, and here's a basketball and some sports equipment, don't come back till sundown.
Yeah, I
But,
love
I
that.
played everything, man, and that kinda led me into, like, just wanting to be a hybrid.
Yeah.
I was it was that was our idols back then,
Mhm.
the athletes. It was Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna
I
say Bo
played
Jackson.
football, basketball, track competitively, and then everything else I could get my hands on, but it was
Yeah,
mainly football, basketball.
interesting. I mean, yeah, football in Nebraska definitely makes sense, but I'm sure basketball's obviously huge there too. But I always think back to, especially early high school for me, like mid school, early high school, like there were some really good Nebraska football teams
Oh,
around that
yeah.
time.
Well, they were kinda like the impetus for D1 strength training.
Yeah,
Like that strength training protocol set them apart, and then everyone else kinda followed suit.
yeah, saw the importance of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was kind of like Tiger Woods, like bringing it. And I think people did fitness before Tiger Woods within golf. Like, you hear about certain golfers that, like, oh, he's done this routine and he's in his 70s and he's still doing it, which is great. But, like, I don't think people truly lifted like an athlete. within the game of golf until Tiger. He like made
Right.
it famous. And granted, he had a bunch of gifts that he had honed through countless hours on the driving range. Um, but he was the first person to really bring like an athletic physique. Like he looked like a football player.
1000%.
Yeah, he looked like Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed. Like you look at like his traps, his shoulders, his chest. It's like that's a big dude, and it translated to his club head speed. And again, there's so many things within golf that are obviously like finesse skill things, but like you bring in athleticism to that, it's like, oof, that's a different animal.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
yeah. So okay, so you grew up in Nebraska, and then what? Like after high school, what'd you get into?
That immediately led me into training.
Nice,
So, sports led me to training. I got an injury, like, right after high school. It was a pretty severe one. I had to rehab, so I ended up with a in a therapy clinic, and they had a gym. So, it was like therapy, and then the next door over was a public gym. So, I started training at that gym after, and I developed a relationship with the staff and the physical therapy, and probably shouldn't say this, but I lied about my age to be get my first training certification.
oh no way,
Yeah, so I started training at 18, 17, and, that was where I started, and it was the best thing for me because I would communicate with the physical therapist on that side. They had a sports performance on this side, and then I was a coach trainer. My very first
nice,
clients were, like, 72,
yeah,
and it was such a valuable lesson because I instantly learned that I couldn't train my clients the way I train myself.
yep.
I'd be like, "Let's try this," and they would literally be like, "Oh my gosh,
Oh, Michael.
I can't and I'm not going to do that," and
Yeah.
so it was so good. It was so good, and so, yeah, sports led me there.
Nice. Yeah, that's I feel like that's probably a more common answer than, like, anything else because same
Totally.
for me, like, but it wasn't like an injury and getting, exposed to, like, PTs and good trainers at a young age. For me, it was, like, just wanting to stay around athletics. Like, once I was done playing college baseball, I was like, "I'm not good at anything else. Like, what do I do now?"
Mhm.
And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm good with people. I've always been reasonably athletic, and I think that I can combine those two things and help like train people. And so that's what got me in. And the same thing, like initially, I wanted to like right out the gate, I wanted to train athletes. I was like, yeah, let me train. I played baseball. Let me train baseball players. And it's like they were all like 72, 75, like hip and knee replacements
Mhm.
or whatever the case may be. And it was perfect. It was like the best start I could have had because it was so frustrating
Mm.
because of, like, how I wanted to train. I was like, "No, no, 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 no. You have to address what the client needs, not what you want." And then it just really taught me patience as well. Like,
Yep.
yeah, because those people and then it was also so rewarding because that elderly clientele was so appreciative. Like, "Oh my gosh, like, I can get off my couch now," or
Mhm.
whatever, and, like, I remember that I would have this sweet old lady, just working on, like, just overall agility, just so she wouldn't, like, catch her foot on a carpet and trip
Mhm.
kinda stuff. And so I would hold her hands as she would laterally step onto a Bosu and step down from a Bosu. And she was just so excited about that, like, every time, and, like, it was one of those things I was like, "This is so, like" I don't wanna say insignificant, like, in a disrespectful way, but it's so, like, low level for me, but it was so rewarding for her that it made it really enjoyable. I was like, "I see her getting the benefit from this. I see the genuine gratitude that she has for us, like,
Mhm.
doing this training." And it was like I said, it was just really, really rewarding.
It's that human connection, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm here for.
That's one of my favorite things about being a coach is sometimes it's just about the conversation you have with someone before or after class or a session that you can literally see them light up and that's what they needed.
Yeah.
It's not just an ass kicking.
Yep.
It's not just elite programming. It's just they want to know you care,
Yeah. And I think
you know?
you said and you started that sentence off with saying coach. And that's the
Mhm.
difference between a coach and a trainer, in my opinion, is that coach is like all encompassing.
Yep.
You wanna be heard that day, cool, I'm here to listen. Like you wanna move that day, you wanna move lighter, you wanna move heavier, you're pissed off, you're hungover, whatever the case may be. Like I am the recipient of whatever energy you're giving out. So I'm gonna meet you in the middle and we're
Mm.
gonna have ourselves a day.
Yep.
And I think that's the difference between like a trainer probably sticks a little more to the program and you're walking around like machines, like counting reps and sets. And it's like, I think a coach like really gets in depth and really, like you said, genuinely cares about their clients.
Yeah, and we talked about athletics usually being the background of trainers and coaches, like long-term coaches, right?
Mhm.
And for me, it was like performance drove it.
Yeah.
You know, I trained and lifted weights to be better on the field and on the court. And then the performance revealed itself not to just be sports. It was like you said, not tripping on a step,
Yeah.
moving better. And so it's like performance is just being able to show up and do something well.
Yeah.
And so that's why athletics and sports psychology is the genesis of everything for me,
Nice.
you know,
I love that.
in life, in how I coach, just everything. It's how do we show up better every day? How do we overcome the obstacles, the shit
Yeah.
when it surfaces? It's mindset.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
it's
it's all mindset. Yeah, is it happening to you or for you?
mm,
You know what I mean? Because those struggle days or those hard moments or those catastrophes that could be happening, if you adjust your mindset, it's a lesson and there's growth on the other side of that pain. And that's, it could be, again, something as insignificant as like my car didn't start, or it could be something way more serious. And again, the struggle that you go through to capitalize on that moment is that's where growth comes from.
yeah. Yeah, one thing that I've that's been such a valuable lesson is it's the mindset shift that is everything because it's the same thing no matter if you look at it negatively or positively. The circumstance doesn't change, you know? And so that's one thing that I really had to overcome, talk about struggles was like my emotions.
Hmm.
If I was wrapped in my emotions and when difficulty came, it would be like complaint. It would be boohoo. The solution didn't come.
Right.
I just stayed over here. And so the closer you get to like not letting that waver you and you're like, okay, like you said, growth opportunity, the solution comes and you don't sway,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That was so powerful for me because Ah. I thought that emotions that was the only way I knew how to communicate with difficulty.
Oof, that's tough. It's a tough place to come from. Yeah, because emotions can be great, but they could also be detrimental,
Killers, man.
and they could be, you know, a hand grenade in that moment. Yeah, I mean, I know for myself personally, like being out of control of my emotions has ruined relationships.
1000%.
Yeah, so being able to take a step back, collect your breath, maybe even take your mind out of that situation and be like, okay, what's the real issue,
Mhm.
and do I need to address it with emotion or can I calmly handle this?
Yes. I like to journal in the mornings when, like, my mind is outside of my head,
Hmm.
if
You're still
you
in
know?
dreamland.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And it was a prompt this morning was like, "Will I still be angry about this in 3 months?"
beautiful.
Whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And, of course, you say no, journaling, no. But then I thought and I'm going, "Well, you won't remember it in 3 months. You won't remember the sting of it, but what you will remember is how you responded to it."
Yeah.
That's the you know, and you're like Bill Burr talks about it. He's like, "You ever had those moments when you're, like, in the shower and you remember what you did the night before and you're like, 'Ah, yeah,'" you know?
Yeah.
That's so much worse than the actual thing,
Right.
is remembering how you responded if it was poorly.
Right. Yeah, if it was poorly. And that's something that, like, especially from the athletic side of it, like, that has come with age. Like, man, as an athlete,
Yes.
like, I've never I wouldn't say I've ever been, like, a hothead outside of the ring or, like, outside of a baseball field or whatever the case may be. Um, but within those lines or in the octagon or whatever the case may be, like, yeah, absolutely. But that's anybody that's competitive. But you see it, that's a huge lesson for fighters. Is you cannot fight emotional. You can't spar emotional because you'll see that too. And you'll see people get hit with just like a clean, crisp jab at 60%. But the fact that it stung them, like, oh, it's a fight now. Like I have to
Mhm.
go into defense mode. And it's like
Mhm.
that's emotional, it's ego. And those tend to go hand in hand.
Yeah, man, that was a big turning point for me was the ego thing, you know, because it went from, okay, star athlete, personal trainer, now, ooh, I can change my body and look good with my shirt off, and then it became this, like, obsession with the external,
Yeah.
and that lasted a long time, and I'm still, like, handling that,
Yeah.
you know? But I'm going, "Is this it? Is this all that fitness has for me? Is I could probably get more lean, but I'm fit.
Yeah.
I've reached my genetic potential with muscles. Like, what else is there? There has to be more. And that's when I'm going, it has to be internal.
Yeah.
You know, I have to find deeper meaning in it just for me. Clients excluded. I'm like, I'm bored with who I am in fitness. And
Mhm.
so that's where I started going deeper into my yoga. I started going deeper into archetypes and actually studying how I tick
Mm.
and then meaning, purpose, right? Something bigger than me. And that's the pillars of my life:
Yeah.
function, mindset, purpose.
And how much happier have you been since you've, like, established those pillars?
Oh, exponentially happier because the purpose was revealed, but it's almost like the Matrix. Once you wake up,
Mhm. There's no you can't
you're
go
like,
back.
"Oh, man, it was easier." I shouldn't say easier, but, like, aspects of it were easier because that internal journey, it doesn't end.
Right.
You know, it's not like there's a goal date and you finish it.
Yeah.
The exploring the shadows is constant work, you
Yeah,
know?
it's never ending.
And you it was almost like looking back at I was not the sharpened man that I am now, but I didn't care.
Mhm.
Now, I feel like I'm evolved. I know I'm evolved, but I'm so hard on myself. So it's like this razor's edge you have to play of knowing yourself, but also like being okay, being present, and giving yourself grace
Yeah.
and knowing that you've evolved, that you've
Right.
gotten better.
Right, yeah, yeah, address that, and, like, I'm not one to, like, sit on laurels or, like, past achievements, but it's okay to give yourself flowers sometimes. Be like, "Man, I've come a long way, I've done a lot.
Mhm.
I've really evolved as a coach, as an athlete, or whatever the case may be." Um, and again, I'm not gonna sit there and throw myself a party, but there have definitely been times where it'll hit me and be like, "Man, I'm so different than I used to be. Thank God.
Thank God.
Thank God."
Otherwise, we're just gonna continue to chase the carrot in front of us. That'll always be away
Yeah,
instead
those
of here in our possession.
yeah, and how much of that life is, like, spent on autopilot? That chasing the carrot because 'cause you're doing the same thing over and over, it's so repetitive, and it's like, I spent a good chunk of, like, my mid-20s on autopilot. Like, I look back on that now, and it's like, man, I feel like I was watching a very boring movie, and that was just my mid-20s, like, I was, like, kind of becoming that person that was just okay with life.
Mhm.
Like working jobs I hated, but they paid, so I was doing them. In a relationship that ended up not being successful, but on paper everything looked good, so I was like, "Well, I should stick through it." And it was one of those things where once all of that kind of got taken away from me, it was like the most beautiful, like pulling of the carpet out from underneath someone that I could ever ask for.
Mhm.
Because it hurt so bad, but like for a short amount of time, like when I lost all those things, I would wake up in the middle of the night, like in pain and like crying, like, where the hell am I? What am I doing with my life? And this is
Mhm.
at 28 years old. And I had moments of like, woe is me. But then I was like, wait a minute, this is a clean slate. And there's a really awesome quote from Fight Club. It says something along the lines of, it's only when we've lost everything that we can become anything. And I'm like, that was my moment. That was like that was my, "Okay, I've lost it all. Who do I wanna be? Because I can be that person." So I started doing MMA. That's when I started getting
Mm.
into combat sports. That's when I started training, like, higher profile professional athletes, and it's because I believed there was a purpose for me, and I believed in my ability to be someone that was out of the norm, and I just went. I put on my blinders and I went, and I had a lot of good support, like, through family and friends, and it was one of those moments where I was like, "Cool, let's test this human body and see what we can do."
Mhm. Yeah, man. I hear that. And again, I feel like that's where leaning into function and fitness because of the physical grit, the discipline, all the things. Like you see, even if you just see someone that's fit, it tells a story
Yeah.
of their life, right?
Mhm.
Going deep into that and then going deep into your connection with something bigger, that it's everything.
Yeah.
It really is. Cause if you don't have that, I feel like the wallowing lasts longer and it's you don't have something, you don't have the light. You don't have the North Star,
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
know?
like guiding you.
Or to be like, like you're get up. Get up, man.
Man, I had that moment with Anthony today. He was telling me, he's like, "Nick, get your ass up." I was training with Anthony, our young coach over at Onnit.
Mhm.
Man, that kid's got a bright future. He's doing some big things, and he's got such a good attitude.
Yep.
Um, like he wants more, but in a good way. Like he's not stepping on people's toes, but you could tell that like he's hungry for more. But he's my partner for High Rocks coming up in March, and we're going through a workout. And he was a decathlete. I don't know if you know that he was a decathlete in
Mhm.
college, um, so tremendous athlete. And we're going, and I'm like dead towards the end of it. I'm like, dude, I think I'm gonna puke. And so I lay down for a little bit, and he's just like ripping like sled pushes. He's like, Nick, I've done 6 of these while you've been laying there. And that moment kind of hit me. I was like, man, I'm a bitch. And I was like, I got up and I just started doing farmer's carries. But it was like that moment of like, get up,
Mhm.
get up. Like you can lay here and like in this comfort and cool down and catch your breath and not puke, or you can push to see how far you're gonna go.
Mm.
Why not push?
Yeah, I was there, I saw that whole thing,
Yeah, I was a witness.
and it was beautiful because I saw you get up, and that's why literally why I said, "I saw you. I
Yeah.
see you,
All
man.
right. Yeah, you tapped me on
I
when I
see
went out
you."
for a run.
And then Anthony saying, "Get up, man. It's not just you, it's us." And that's another thing that is so powerful is that circle.
Yeah.
Who do you surround
Oh
yourself
man.
with?
That's huge. That can be life. That is life changing. Because I don't know how you like where you grew up in Nebraska, like how your close friends were, but where I grew up in New Mexico, like my close friends, other than like one or two of them, didn't really amount to much.
Mhm.
Like my close friends from high school, and it's like I could have turned into a hacky sack playing, skateboarding, pot smoking, whatever, wannabe musician that like some of my close friends have gone that route. But it's like, man, thank God I found different circles. Because man, the people you surround yourself with, and it is it's I don't want to say it's becoming cliche because I still don't think enough people heed that advice,
Mhm.
but your circle will define you,
Good or bad.
good or bad. Your circle will define you, and coming to a place like On It, it's like everyone's circle
Here's
is
an amazing circle
booming.
for you.
Yeah, do you want it?
Yes.
Is if you want it, you can have it,
Mhm.
but if you don't want it, that's okay. Go find another one.
Right.
But On It it's a sphere. It's not just a circle. It's all encompassing,
It really
and
is.
the community there, and the people that push you, and the coaches that we have on, um, man, what a time! It's really like a blessing to be in that facility.
I moved across the country for it, man.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I
had to
yeah.
be a part of it. I was like, "This is I'm pulled here, and I'm
When
coming."
when did you go to Colorado from Nebraska,
Well,
or from where?
yeah, so it was Nebraska, Wyoming, San Diego,
Ah,
then Colorado.
okay,
So there was a brief stint of I'm gonna be a musician
yeah,
in San Diego. It wasn't brief. I'm still a musician, but
yeah, yeah. I've seen you play guitar.
it
It's
was
nice.
like I'm going to California and I'm gonna be a rock star. Because if I just get there, everything will be different,
Yeah,
right? And that was my first taste of it's not the surroundings, it's you,
yeah,
you know? But I don't regret it at all. But, after San Diego, went to Denver, and that's when I really got into music, like, in the Denver scene, and I used sports. Again, I practiced music like I practice sports. It was
nice.
reps. It was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this for 8 reps, practice this song 4 times," and that was all I knew.
Yeah,
I didn't have any formal training, and so again, that sports background, I taught myself to play guitar and sing,
nice.
and that was big. That was big, and again, back to that circle, it was so wild. The first band that I had, we were all personal trainers.
Oh, nice.
And there was no destructive habits. We were all like, "Okay, let's eat clean. We need
Yeah.
to get sleep," that type of thing, and I've been in the bigger band that I was in, that was not the case, but it was so interesting with it. Again, the gym scenario, that's why I always say when people are, "Where do I go to meet girls, Michael? How can I find a man?" And I'm like, "The gym's a great place to start."
Yeah.
I mean,
They
you gotta
they
be
have a common interest.
exactly, there's gonna be some health there, there's gonna be some forward thinking and discipline anyway, but it was just so interesting that we were all personal trainers playing in a band, and then it led to unhealthy.
Mm,
It led to unhealthy, which was all the things that come with staying up late playing music and then getting a little notoriety, the drugs, the late nights,
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
It'll catch up to you.
Uh-huh. And we were not even, like, big.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine blowing up and having all of that. I mean, no wonder a lot of these artists are just they like, we make fun of them or, like, "How could you do that?"
Yeah.
I can't imagine the pressure of, "Here's all the girls you want, here's all the blow you want, and we'll do it again tomorrow if you want to."
Yeah, that's tough, especially for a young man. That's tough. I recently had a photographer on, a videographer for one of the biggest artists out of Mexico right now, like probably the biggest artist out of Mexico. And yeah, that's what he was telling me because he's straight edge. He doesn't fool around with anything, which is wild. And he was telling me, he's like, man, this lifestyle eats a lot of people up. He's like, none of my friends could do this. And that's another thing. He's like, why do you think there's so many one hit wonders?
Mhm.
They get their one hit. It's not like necessarily that they fell off talent wise,
Right.
but they fell into what's readily
And
available
they're
to
like,
them.
"I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm
He's like,
out."
everything's in excess. He's like, alcohol, drugs, women, everything is in excess. He's like, whatever you want.
Yeah, man. And I found that it was the feeling you get from being on stage. That
Mm,
ego is like, "Oh,
I'm him.
please, more." And then when you get off stage, the only thing to satiate that is,
The next high.
"Uh-huh."
Yeah.
And I experienced that for the first time, and I'm going, "Ooh, this is dangerous."
I like it too much.
Yeah, and amongst other things, led me to walk away from that,
Yeah.
and I began to not like music because I was studying it academically, right? I was comparing, like, "Well, why are they big? We could do that." Instead of just going to a show and enjoy it, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this, like, passion, you know how important music is to the world and the universe? So it was important for me to keep that because anytime that I find myself losing love for something I'm passionate about, I step back.
Yeah.
That means I'm too far one way in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, because I had that, not a similar moment by any means, but a similar experience as far as, there was a class that I was teaching at Onnit, and this is maybe my 2nd year in, and for whatever reason, it was a class that was something I loved to do, but it was just not the way that I love to do it. It had nothing I structured the class, it had nothing to do with anyone but me, and I remember telling Larry, I was like, "Man, this is the first time I've walked in these doors and I'm not excited about what I'm doing." And I was like, "I don't think I should coach this class anymore."
Speaking to you.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause it was one of those things I was like, "Why am I not looking forward to going into On It?" Like, I love this building, I love these people, like,
Mhm.
this is these are my people, and it was again, for whatever reason, it was that class, and again, it was on a topic that I love to teach, but for whatever reason, I just wasn't vibing with it, and, yeah, as soon after that, we took that class off the schedule. A different variation of that class has come back in with a different coach, which is doing very well. And I think it's a boxing, like I was doing kickboxing,
Mhm.
and but for whatever reason, when I was doing it, I was like, I'm just not excited to be here. And we handled that, and that's the only time that I've ever had anything like that at On It.
Good for you to recognize that and, like, address it though, rather than it be like a member's going, "Nick is checked out."
It's kind of half-assed delivering this class, and I would never want that,
Mhm.
especially at On It. Especially at On It, like a place that I've worked so hard to get to, like, if I start to develop a bad reputation because of how I'm handling my classes or my clients, I'd be like, "Whoa,
Nope.
I need to take time off, like, this isn't what I need to be doing." Because I again, it's a spot that is very near and dear to my heart. It's meant a lot to my, uh, spiritual and, like, mental growth getting into On It. Um, and it was just such a like, a flagship for me for so long of, like, what it meant to the industry and what it still means to the industry, and then, like, what it means for, like, the MMA community.
Yeah.
Because that's when I started first hearing about On It was through, MMA stuff. And it became such a symbol that, like, I was like, "I don't wanna come in this building and not enjoy what I'm doing."
You know, I understand.
For sure.
Driving down here, I'm like, you get a very, very amazing golden ticket to, like, establish a reputation, respect, trust, and that was, like, my main focus because 'cause I'm not half-assing how I present myself
Yeah.
here. So I get that, and I think that that's how every coach looks at it.
I would hope so.
They come in prepared, they come in with their experience, their gusto, but also they show up,
Yeah.
you know?
That's huge.
And
Showing up.
that's why I love being there, man. That first coaches meeting with y'all, I'm going, "I'm in the right place."
Yeah.
You know, y'all were so inviting, but also, like, world-class coaches. We're
Yeah, but
lucky,
like the
man.
night, yo, dude, we're so lucky because everyone, and this is what I tell, because I recently had a client who was a patient of Jen, our PT, our Exos from Exos at Onnit. Um, so she's been really good at like referring her clients to me. Like once she kind of gets them
Yeah.
patched up, like I'll get them back to like play or whatever the case may be. And so one of her clients came up and was asking questions about the classes. And he was like, "Yeah, Jen said that you guys have like a really good relationship, so like you can communicate on what I need help with." And like started asking me about my classes. And I jokingly told him, I was like, "Well, if you want to play varsity, I coach at these times." And I was like, "Dude, that's a total joke
Mm.
because like at Onnit, all of the coaches are great at something, and we're all here for a reason. Because we've had coaches come through that weren't there for the right reasons. They were there for clout, or
Mhm.
they were there to try to become an influencer, or whatever the case may be, and they fizzled out quick. And I don't think we've had any since you've been there, but there's probably like 3 or 4 that we had before you, like over the years before you. Um, that we'd get them in the building and again handed a golden ticket of like, this is on it. You have an opportunity to build your name here.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? We had one kid completely turn it down at the end of his internship. He's like, "No, I think I'm gonna do my own thing." And I to be honest with you, I'm not sure what he's doing now. Um, but all of us were kind of like, "Do you understand like the opportunity that you're being given right here?" And no, he just walked away from it. So I mean, if he's doing well and he's successful, good for him. I'm happy for him. But it's one of those things where like, all right, cool. And then, but we've also had like 2 or 3 other coaches that we've had to like have conversations with, be like, all right, this
Mhm.
probably isn't for you.
That happens.
Yep.
That happens, but it was crazy, Nick. Accidentally on purpose, I was at Onnit 6 times in 2023 and 2024 over the course of a year,
And that's not a short trip for you.
leading into that coaches tryout and then my move here, it was teaching workshops, attending workshops, just winding up there to do another workshop across town. I'm like, "I'm gonna go down and work out for a few days." And it literally led me to meeting a handful of people, developing relationships, and like you said, it was divine timing,
Yeah.
divine intervention, however you wanna call that. It was the best choice of my life. And Austin, I feel the vibe here,
Dude,
dude.
it's such a vibe here. It was wild because like, when I first moved here, and this was influenced by someone that I dated in another city, but when I first, like, lived in Austin, I was like, "Meh," like, I'll probably be out of here soon,
Mhm.
and, like, it's just become something now that, like, I've really allowed myself to experience the city. I'm like, "Good lord, man, this is a vibe, like, this is such a fun time."
It is. Well, and my very first experience at, like, interacting with people at Onnit,
What year was this?
well, let's just say, like, when I first started working
Okay,
there.
gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, this summer. If you're a trainer for anything more than a year, I guarantee you have at least 18 ways to say, "Hey, how you doing?" "Good. Good, thank you. You too."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just,
just
like, part of it. You have to.
autofill.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And it's necessary. I mean, if you do it with eye contact and kindness, it's a good thing, but, like, that just doesn't really happen there.
no,
Like, "Hey, how you doing?" And, like, sometimes you have to be short, but someone's telling you about an idea that they have or an amazing experience that they had or celebrating you or accepting you celebrating them.
yeah,
No gossip. I'm going, talk about a circle, like you said, that sphere,
yeah,
and I think we're touching down on that for a reason, and if you're listening to this, I think you need to take inventory on
your circle.
the importance of that and how you view that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm big on trying to not give lip service when people ask how I'm doing. Like, I don't wanna give an automated response. If you feel the obligation to give an automated response, cool, that's fine. I'm not gonna, like, pry at you to see how you're
Yeah.
actually doing. But when people, like, ask me how I'm doing, I generally try to do a
Be
quick
honest.
inventory and be like, "Doing pretty well today." "Yeah, thanks." Sometimes it might come out like something simple like that, but, like, I'll never just be like, "Hi, bye. Yep, doing great. See you later." Like, I try, and it's probably gotten me a little bit of a reputation as being a chatty Cathy, and that's obviously why I do what I do. But
Mhm.
like I'll tend to run a little bit late. Like if I have a client I know is warming up in the back, from the time it takes me to walk from the front desk back to sports performance,
4
I probably yeah,
conversations.
exactly. I'm probably having at least 3 conversations, and 2 of them are more than just a hi and bye.
Mhm.
It's like, "Hey, like, oh, I saw you closed on that house," or whatever. "Oh, let me see the new tattoo," whatever the case may be.
That's those things though, man. That's those things that bring people back
Oh,
because
yeah.
they know you care.
Yeah, and I genuinely care. Like, I've probably told this story on the podcast before, but I remember we had a guy, he was stationed in Japan, military guy, but he was in Austin for whatever reason. And he saw a hoodie that I was wearing that we didn't sell in store. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I think we got it online." It's like an $85 hoodie, no big deal. And he's like, "Oh man," he's like, "I leave tomorrow. Like, I'm going back to Japan. So like, I was hoping you guys
Did
are
you
selling
give
it."
it to him?
Yeah. Yeah. And he gave me his rash guard from his jujitsu gym in Japan. And
That's kind of an ancient exchange.
right. Yeah, like, what do I have to give you that I know will
Literally
be
the shirt.
valuable to you? The
I
shirt off
love
my
that.
back.
I love that.
Yeah, so I was like, "Dude, I can go online and get this hoodie any day of the week, and for a discount because I work here."
And will he ever forget that moment?
Hope not. No, he actually, he posted, like, a couple weeks after that, back in Japan, he, like, posted on a run, like, wearing the hoodie and, like, tagged me in it. Yeah, and I was like, "Hell yeah, man."
Relationships, man.
Yeah, and again, I know it meant something. That's something he'll never forget. Like, dude, I remember when I went to Onnit, like, I met this awesome
Yep.
coach. He gave me the hoodie right off his back. It was still warm, smelled like spaghetti, you know? Like, something
That's
like that, but you
awesome.
know what I mean? But that's like
Yeah.
and that's what we're here to cultivate. There was a guy that recently came back to the gym. I haven't seen him in 3 years because he lived in San Antonio, but I remember when he came up to the gym and he was talking to me about coaching, he was trying to get into it and, like, this, that, and the other, and we kinda kept in touch at, like, very, very vaguely, like, over the last 3 years, but he came back in, he's like, "Yeah, I moved into Austin and, just, bought a 2-week trial." And, like, I remembered him, and I was like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
dude, like, what's up, Jackson? Like, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah," and, like, cool time, like, that's the kind of stuff that, like you said, makes On It what it is.
Well, and I'm all about I love warrior myths and lore and
Mhm.
gladiator, right? And it's like you think of Achilles and how do I echo in eternity? How am I remembered and how do I change the world? And my music endeavor was like, this is how I'm remembered. This is like my mark. This is my legacy, right? How do we change the world? That is changing the world.
Yeah.
If you make someone smile that day and it echoes into their interactions, you're changing the world, man.
Yeah, it's butterfly effect. That ripple on the water that
What an
caused the reeds
amazing
to
movie.
stir and yeah, great movie. But, you're setting action in motion and that's gonna have reactions, and positive or negative.
Mhm.
So that's something that kind of like when you do inventory of your circle, also make sure you're doing inventory of how you're treating people because you could be influencing. And as a coach, that's huge because that hour and a half that you're with your client, that might be the best hour and a half of their day. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? You don't know what they're going home to. Not in all cases. It's not like I'm very close with all my clients, so I typically know like how things are going. But like you don't know what they're going home to. You don't know how work's going. You don't like not everyone's discussing their finances, like stuff like that. It's like
Right.
that time they're with you is the time that they're not thinking about all that bullshit because you're with them and you're guiding them through a physical activity that is removing them from the physical world. They're just getting their their workout in, they're getting because physical exhaustion can be spiritually enlightening. And I think if you can step outside that, cool. You removed them from their anxiety for an hour and a half, maybe longer if they have like a good, like, resonating glow after and they're just, all right, cool. Like I'm gonna go grab a smoothie. I'm gonna go to Zilker now instead of just go home and sit on my
Yeah.
laptop. Like you're setting things into motion, like I said.
Well, how important is your workout to you?
It's
It's
huge.
everything to me.
Yeah.
And I do it by myself. Like, and they're seeking out our
Yeah.
coaching. And so, yeah, it's a very powerful, amazing position that we're in.
Yeah.
Yep. And I wouldn't trade it.
No, man.
I
I
wouldn't
it's
trade it.
so it's so rewarding. It's like I know I was brought here to help people, and that's the best way I know how to help people.
So, top 3 books that we can, like, throw into the conversation now. I got, like,
Ooh.
2 or 3. What do you got that we can maybe
Man, one of the best books that I've read. Well, first of all, I will throw out, it's not by any means specifically physically a book on fitness or anything like that, but for me, it lit a fire, like, unlike anything I've ever read, and that's really became, like, the birth of this podcast, and the book was called In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day. And of course, it's a Christian book, so there's a lot of, like, religious in that, but even if you take that out of it, like the motivation of like finding your purpose. And again, with me being religious, like what are you doing that's glorifying God? And for me, I was like, this is my legacy. This is what I'm going to be doing, and this is where I get to return the glory to God because he gifted me with certain blessings, right? So what do I do with that? What do I do with my physical abilities? What do I do with my athletic abilities? What do I do with my gift of gab?
Mm.
What I do with that, the gifts that God have given me, what I do with that is my gift back to him. And that's what I live on. And that's really came a lot from In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day.
Mm.
So again, that's, I'm not going to sit here and tell people like read this religious book, but like if you are, especially if you tend to lean towards religion, but even if you're not like a diehard Christian, it's a very motivational book. Pretty easy read too. And then I would say second for me would be a book called Mind Gym, GYM, Mind Gym, and that's all
I think I've
on.
heard of that.
I read that in college, and that really changed like my perceptions on like my performance and my mentality and how I handle certain things. And they talk about like Jordan's flu game, right?
Mm.
102-degree temperature, whatever he had, and it just was like one of the all-time great games. And or like Kurt Gibson hitting a walk-off home run and limping around the bases, like those kind of events. It's like those people were so in the moment because of how shitty they felt that like they removed all the difficulty of overthinking because they were like, I feel like
Present,
they were
present,
present. They were
present.
present. Exactly. And that's like big, like the book is big on like being present in the right moment and like the power of thoughts. Like, are you standing in the batter's box thinking don't strike out? Or are you thinking in the batter's box thinking have a good at bat or get a base hit, see some pitches here? Are you having positive or negative thoughts? Because that will, without doubt, dictate how that experience goes. And then what would be a third
Wow.
book that I could throw out there? To be honest with you, I really enjoyed Tim Kennedy's book, Scars and Stripes. That was one that like I've gone back and read a couple times, like when I need a little more, like if I'm running
Mm.
and I'm like, man, I need a little like something to fire me up. Tim Kennedy's book's really good. Goggins' books is really good too. He's pretty hardcore. So I wasn't like I never
Very
yeah,
hardcore.
very hardcore. I honestly I didn't read the second book from Goggins, but the first one, it was great. And I that hit me at a right time in my life. Actually, my aunt sent it to me like kind of randomly. I hadn't talked to her in a little while, and she's like, she's a nurse, and she's like, people around the hospital are reading this book, and I really think you would like it because she knew that I was into MMA. And there's no MMA in that book, but just like kind of how hardcore it is. She just felt like I'd like it, and like I said, it hit me at the right time for sure. Like that was another kind of like divine message, if you will.
Mm.
Um, to where I really enjoyed that book. But like I said, if I had to give three, I'd say In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day, Mind Gym, and then Scars and Stripes by Tim Kennedy.
All books I haven't read, so great answers.
Perfect. All right, let's hear
Great
yours.
answers. Oh, man. I've been on a mission. Lots of books over the past years. First one I'll always recommend, and it was the start of a big shift for me. It was The Way of the Superior Man.
Oh yeah,
Heard
heard
of
of it.
that one?
I haven't read it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, big time. You hear superior man and you're like, "Oh, is this like samurai training?" Right?
Yeah.
But it's about, in a nutshell, how to acknowledge the existence of the feminine and masculine energy within yourself and others,
Mhm.
and understand that that can dictate your compatibility. Male, female, heterosexual, doesn't matter. And that ripped the sky open for me because I had just come out of a relationship, a lot of it my fault,
Yeah.
but a lot of it just a compatibility thing, right? And so to understand that the the obstacles that we came to a head with were due to a lack of incompatibility and
Mhm.
timing, right? And so it made me see some things a lot differently, and it led me to be okay with leaning into feminine energy within myself,
Mhm.
you know?
Not
And
easy to do for an athlete because it's
no.
such like a macho. Yeah, when you are an athlete,
Uh-huh.
it's so like hardcore testosterone, macho man. So yeah, to like sit back and think like there is feminine energy in there that I
Uh-huh.
need to, if I want to be a well-rounded human being, like I need to acknowledge.
Yeah, and you think it's a chink in the armor, but it's not, and
Mhm.
it's compassion, it's understanding, and it's being able to sit back and self-assess, and that led me to go deeper. And, I did a I did a retreat on an Indian reservation
Nice. Where?
in Arizona.
Ah, nice.
Drove all the way down there, and it was kind of the same basis, an understanding of archetypes and the existence of feminine and masculine. But anyway, that started my whole journey, my big inward journey. And I needed to redefine who I was.
Mm,
Not only because I wasn't making the money that, a personal trainer, if you're just like half-assing it as a personal trainer, it's not a glorious career financially.
no.
And so I'm
Nor
like,
is it rewarding, I would imagine. Like,
no,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so I'm like, okay, I need to up my game as a businessman,
Yeah.
and so how do I do that? Study business a little bit. Okay. You need to define what you actually want. Who are you? What do you stand for? Are you just a guy that lifts weights? No, I'm not. And so I started defining who I really am and what I want. And that's where the pillars came in. And that's where it was mindset is everything. There has to be a bigger purpose, and you have to lead people towards
Okay.
functionality. Like
Yeah.
what do they want from their lives? I always encourage people to go into some sort of performance. I think that's where, like, there's so many forms, but High Rocks is great for people right now because they're having goals.
Yeah.
They have to do High Rocks on a certain date, and then they're working towards it rather than just, I'll show up to the gym and go through the motion.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm getting off track. Great book there. Second one of so many, just because we're on this topic, Tim Grover, Relentless.
Relentless. Yeah, I've read that one.
What a badass.
Yeah.
Like the story of him being in our shoes, maybe even like our old shoes, not so known trainer, went to the Chicago Bulls and was like, I'm going to train your players for free. Or like, I'm a trainer, I can help you. The only one that took the bait was Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
What does that say about like greatness?
Yeah.
The best player on the team was like, I can be better.
Yeah.
Here's my shot. And then Tim Grover was like,
right guy, right time.
The mindset to be able to like coach Michael Jordan and tell Michael Jordan, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right.
Amazing book. And how you talked about Kobe and Wade and just those guys were psychos in their own right, but that's what it takes.
Yeah. I've worked with a couple of like world champion athletes in different sports, and there's a little bit of psycho in there. All of them.
Because they know what they want, man.
Yeah, and they're also willing to consistently turn the stone over to see what's next.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people are willing to put in that kind of work. But the
and
greats
if you
are.
get in the way, you get one, and then it's like, get out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how many...
Talk about owning your circle. They're like, you're not in. You're not in. Next.
Yeah. And that's, again, I think people at that level probably know they have to. Like, I can't keep this guy around. He's only bringing me down, or he's only causing drama, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Last Dance was so good because even his like teammates, they were like, he's an asshole, but we know what we're a part of.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to do it with anybody else.
We know what we're a part of.
Yeah. 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 And I mean, there's, stories of him like fighting teammates and this, that, and the other. And it's like, good. Like you should be pushing them for their best. If you know you're pushing yourself for the best, you should be pushing your teammate. Like Anthony's tone changed when he told me to get up. Like he wasn't nice Anthony anymore. And I loved it.
Yeah.
That's what I got up for.
Bro, I was there. I was like, it was like something inside me. I was like, oh.
Yeah. You wanted to get it. Yeah.
And you did. You responded.
Yeah, I did. I regretted it after as I was walking up my stairs. I started to cramp. I was like, oh,
here we are.
Yeah, but here we are. We're doing the damn thing. But yeah, that's what it was. And that was Anthony, his inner greatness challenging mine. And I needed it. I needed it in that moment. And you saw, and it was one of those things where it's like, if you can bring that out in others, why not? Especially your teammates or people you want to see succeed. Like I know without doubt, A, Anthony's my teammate for High Rocks. But B, as a coach and as a person and as an athlete, he wants to see me succeed because after we took off for that run, after I got up off the ground and did my farmer's walk, we ran another 400. And he's like, no matter what happens in this race, know that you're going to get another Nick Gomez at the end. And I was like, good for you, Anthony. That's the kind of coaching I vibe with.
Yeah, we were in the functional kettlebell training workshop together, and there was like like it's amazing standard that they have for just a test, and it's a simple step up snatch. And here's the recommended weight: 24 kg, single bell, alternating snatch to a step. Right, 5 minutes.
Oh,
How many
5
can how
minutes?
many can you do?
Wow.
And Anthony and I are head to head, and it's like the Onnit coaches have to show out a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
So we're like, we're not competing, but what's the best?
But
What's the
what's the
total?
course record by chance?
And I don't think he gave us an answer, probably for a reason. But dude, I'm not lying. I was hustling. He was hustling. And I heard his counter say he was like 7 or 8 ahead of me. And then it would be like I would catch up to, and then we would be even. I blacked out after like the last minute, and I just kept going. We ended up with the same reps exactly.
No way.
94 reps or something like that in 5 minutes.
That's wild.
And that is what having someone that is like on the same mindset. It doesn't have to be the physical plane. It doesn't have to be grinding, physically. But if someone is like pushing you towards being better and the goal in whatever arena, it's invaluable.
Oh man, yeah. Those kind of people. Those are the people you want in your circle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want yes men. I don't want people constantly giving me flowers when the flowers are dying. You know what I mean? Like giving me when I deserve them, but like push me to go get them. Those are the people I want in my circle.
Mm-hmm. 1000%.
So what's your third book?
Where should I go with it? Ooh, I'll meet us halfway. Because of the audible, Green Lights, Matthew
McConaughey's book. Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't read it. I've heard great things.
Phenomenal, dude.
That's funny. That's kind of high on my list right now. It's funny you said that.
He's such a good storyteller, and like you get an inside look at his life. Obviously, you kind of know his films and some of the things, and wow,
yeah,
his real life is, in my opinion, cooler than his roles.
No way.
Yeah, it's worth it for sure. But he's a hybrid, man. He's a hybrid human.
Yeah.
He's done so many things just because he wanted to do them,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like unabashedly like, I will do this, and who cares about your thoughts?
Yeah. He's doing side missions,
but without hurting people's feelings and being unkind.
Yeah, he's unapologetically him.
Amazing.
And if it offends you, that's probably more on you than it's on him. I've seen this before where like people's confidence might offend somebody else. And it's like, well, are you offended because they're confident? Or are you offended because you could be doing it too, but you're just not willing to put that energy into it?
It's a reflection, man. It's a mirror. Reflection. 1000%.
Yeah, because there's so much, don't get me wrong, there are people that are just gifted, right? Like you look at John Jones having the longest reach in UFC history, or Michael Phelps's big paddle-like feet. There's certain things that are, people are just gifted at certain things. But
is that why?
Is that why they're great? No, not at all. And is that why you're not great? Not at all. Because guess what? You could be great. Maybe you couldn't be the greatest MMA fighter of all time or the greatest Olympian of all time. There's obviously only one of each of those, right? But you could be the greatest whatever you want to do. Right? You could push yourself to become the greatest drummer or the greatest writer or the greatest poet or the greatest dad. There's so many things that you can be great at and truly great at. But like, are you willing to put in the work? Because I think that's where most people get turned away, that most people run away from their lion because of the fear of what's on the other side of it. There's a quote, and I always forget who it's from, but it's like, it's not, our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but it's that we are powerful beyond all means.
Thoreau?
I think it is, to be honest with you, but I don't ever want to say that and be like way wrong, but I always think it's Thoreau.
I think it is.
And there's a lot more to that quote that's like really, really pretty and powerful. But that part of it is like, that part hits me every time because I played college baseball.
Because you've been in that's you.
Exactly. Yeah, because I've pushed myself to
Shying
good levels.
away from something, maybe.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, and I've had this talk, and that's one of the reasons why I started this podcast. Because I used to have that mindset of like, yeah, it'd be awesome to have a podcast, but why me? And I've had realizations within it on it, like doing we did a Sambal event, and there was a friend of John Wolf's that was in the event, a female that had like taken a couple of my classes at Onnit before, and she did the Sambal event as well. And I just kind of stayed in the back and did my own thing. And in the front, there was a bunch of peacocks, just dudes with their shirts off, like
Mhm.
trying to do all this like madness. And like I'm doing the workout, I'm doing all the stuff that we're doing. But I'm just like kind of in the back, and she's like, "No, no, no, no. You're the coach that needs to be in the front. Like you need to be heard." And I was like, "I don't desire it." And she's like, "That's why you need to be heard."
Mm.
Because the ones that do desire it, it's often fake. It's often a facade. Like, let me be so loud and boisterous that you don't realize that I'm not actually all I'm cracked up to be.
That's why it must be you, Maximus.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah, that's so funny. That's hilarious. But yeah, that's kind of like a realization that I had is like, and funny kind of segue into the conversation earlier about like the high rocks training. Um, I after I did the workout with Anthony today, I was talking to a friend, and she was like, she had never heard of high rocks. She's back in New Mexico, and she's like, "Well, why are you doing that?" And I was like, "I'm doing it because I know I'm going to hate it, and I
Mm.
need to get out of my comfort zone because a comfort zone is a beautiful thing, but nothing can grow there." You,
And it's I think that it's a different breed too when you can think that way. It's the athlete and warrior mindset. Not everyone thinks that way. And I've
yeah,
had to come to grips with that too.
you can't
You
make
can't
people think that way.
no. And I've pushed a lot of people away because they didn't want to train like I trained. When they stepped into like my world.
Yeah,
Not more than just a client, right? Like now you're coming to my workouts.
yeah,
Like my time. And then it would be good. And they're like, oh my God, I love it. And then my ego was like, you're not pushing like me, so therefore I'm gonna call you out or whatever,
yeah.
and it was like it's just you can't force it.
No, no, you
Can't.
can't. But the people that'll go through that with you are like, "All right, you're in my circle."
It's like the blood is thicker than water thing, you know? The
Yeah.
blood of the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb.
Oh, I like that.
That's the true saying.
Oh, okay.
It's like blood is thicker than water, and so that tells you that like family is everything. But
Mhm.
the true statement is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So the bonds and the depth that you go to with like your fellow athletes or your best friends, that can be just as deep or deeper than blood,
Yeah.
than like the water of the womb. You know what I'm saying? Like my friend Jesse and I, that is my soul brother.
Yeah,
Soul brother,
for sure.
you know?
Yeah, brother with a hard R. Yeah, you're not brother.
Mhm.
Like, that guy's my brother. We've suffered
Mhm.
through it together.
Mhm.
And that's actually, very biblical because there are many times in the Bible where it says, like, if you're essentially again, I'll kind of paraphrase it, but, like, if your religious calling is separating you from your family because they don't wanna walk those same steps, then so be it. Because the blood of the
It happens a
covenant
lot. It's
is
happened
thicker
to
than the
me.
water of the womb. Yeah, yeah, it's wild. But those are the kind of people I wanna cut my teeth with, and if you've ever done any sort of MMA, you know exactly what we're talking about. The guys that I've bled with in that ring, in that octagon, on those mats, share an experience that I have not shared with anybody else, and they know me on a deeper level because of that than anyone else will.
And I mean, it's not the physicality, it's the combat.
It's the, "I see you going through this too, and we're going through it
I'm
together."
gonna hit you, you're gonna hit me. It's not just like conditioning for football practice or conditioning for baseball
Right.
practice.
Yeah.
Like wrestling and combat is different.
Oh, it's different. And like some of my best is I played baseball my whole life. I still play like in men's baseball league, like wood bat league today. But my best friends, the biggest commonality is MMA.
Mm.
I have a couple of friends that are into both golf and MMA or both baseball and MMA. And the one thing that like we really vibe on is always MMA, especially if they've gone through it. Like one of my good friends, David, he was a professional baseball player for however many years. And he got into boxing. And I helped set him up with like an MMA coach because I knew he's a bigger fan of sport than I was. He knew more MMA than I did. And so I was like, let me introduce you to Andrew Craig, the head MMA coach from 10th Planet, former UFC fighter. And they hit it off right away. They both really into like music and whatnot. And then so David started doing boxing with him. And then there's been a couple times where I've actually got to spar David now. And I'm like, this is dope. And I really appreciate the effort that you put into it because I know how much you love it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a
I
great
see
time.
you, brother.
I see you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you've brought up a word several times now that kind of keeps hitting home with me. You keep saying hybrid. So I know that you're working on this human hybrid project.
Mhm.
Tell me more about it.
So to me, that again stems back. One of the very first like athletes I discovered in the middle of Nebraska was, do you remember Jim Thorpe?
Yes, yeah,
The
yeah,
OG
yeah,
Native
like
American, like
football
just like
player.
trendsetter.
Yes,
But he played everything,
played
right?
everything. Yeah.
And I did a report on him and I was just like, I love that. Like I love that story. And then there was multiple facets of the hybrid athlete growing up that I was just gravitated to, and that was me.
Yeah.
I was the linebacker and the quarterback. I was a
Small high school.
Yep, there was only
That's
one
funny.
player. It was me.
Yeah, I was the team.
But I liked that. I liked being able to be good at multiple things,
Yeah.
not just sports. I wanted to play music. I wanted to draw well. I wanted to speak well. I got into reading early, you know. So it was always a conglomeration of like I like seeking and learning things.
Mhm.
So that was the first thing. Like I don't want to just be in the chess club. I want to like to play chess, but I also, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't wanna be pigeonholed.
And so that was like, Michael, you're good at everything. That's not true. I just try so many things,
Yeah.
right? And so that was kind of the nexus of that. But also it empowers me, that word. It's a buzzword now, but it empowered me. And so I shied away from it. I just named the business Human Hybrid Project. I've been sitting on the Human Hybrid as like a program and like a concept for a while, but because it is a buzzword, I needed to define it. And so for me, it's more than just like a methodology. So if you look at the fitness industry, a hybrid athlete is like High Rocks, right, or CrossFit. To me, it's more. It has to be more. If
Mhm.
it's conditioning and strength and conditioning, that's just fitness. You know, is there mixed modalities?
Mhm.
Are you doing multiple things? Like, what's the best example? MMA.
Yeah.
That's a hybrid athlete,
Mixed martial arts.
like 1000%, you know? And so there's nothing wrong with just doing strength and conditioning, but is it really hybrid? In my opinion, no.
Right.
And so that's why I wanted to define it and make it more. And so when we go deeper into the mindset and purpose, then there's a hybrid there. So I think another example of hybrid is Da Vinci.
Oh, interesting.
Not just an artist, man,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
Renaissance man. Yeah.
And that's what I'm seeking.
Yeah.
And so in a way, this was like a declaration of who I want to be, what
Yeah.
I'm trying to embody. Not just with fitness, but like my philosophy, my mission as a man, as a partner, as a best friend, as a coach.
Mhm.
I love to cook. I love to play guitar. I love all of these things and I want to be better at them. And it's like a conglomeration of a hybrid human.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things for us to do in this world. Don't just don't just stick to one. And also, to be a high level man, we need to be able to do a lot of things.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
And so that's where that came from, was yes, fitness, but whole man.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, because I'm very much on that journey myself of finding like kind of one of the reasons why I want to do high rocks. I'm like, yeah, I can deadlift a house, but can I run X amount of miles and do that? And then also, now if I have to, can I defend myself against a mugger? Or can I shoot a target? Like, have you looked at the
Yes, brother.
tactical games at all?
I know what you're talking
The
about.
tactical games look nasty because you're doing these like high rocks CrossFit-ish like events. You're doing, burpee box jumps, and then you now go run and shoot a target.
Now you got to calm it down and
Control your
focus.
heart rate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I have a buddy named Nick Palacios that he does the tactical games, and he's big into like archery as well. And it's like, man, I want more of that because I love archery. I love shooting my pistol. I'm like, how can I actually become more proficient at these things to where I become a more well-rounded man? Like I've gotten into cooking as well. And it's like, I want, like down the line, I'm like, all right, now I want my own chickens. I want my own cattle.
Yeah,
like
buddy.
these are things like, because my ex-father-in-law, great man, but he's just one of those dudes that knew how to do everything. And I'm like, they don't make that anymore. Like if it was woodworking or metalworking or painting or doing whatever, like he just knew how to do it. And it's one of those things I'm like, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to be able to do a lot of things. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to do everything, but like he said, becoming a well-rounded man, men specifically, like, be a good defender, be a good leader, be someone that's physically reliable, because that's a lot of that is missing in today's culture.
Mhm. Yep, and you're leaning into it with this. It's like, can you articulate yourself?
Yeah. Which I am not a scholar. I am not well read. Like I don't
But you articulate yourself well.
I got to give credit to my mom on that. My mom would always correct my grammar. My mom's very smart. But like, man, I hated school. I hated reading. I hated doing schoolwork. If I didn't play baseball, I probably wouldn't have graduated high school. Like
Same.
100% honestly.
Same,
Yeah,
dude.
like baseball, like knowing that like
Sports kept me in class.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And in class and then like it said continuing into college because once I was done being a college baseball player, I was like, I'm not going to be a student. I'm not just going to like it's I can't. It doesn't keep me entertained enough.
Mhm.
And that's just the way my mind works. And there are people that love that kind of work and good for them because we need those kind of people, but it's not me. Like I'm not a guy that's going to be like, "Ooh, like I got to make sure I get a 4.0 GPA because it's going to get me here, here, and here." It's like, no, like me, I was like, I just got to make sure I'm eligible to play baseball.
Yeah.
And then I got to take care of what I got to take care of on the baseball field, in the weight room, whatever. That was more exciting for me. Like I didn't want to take care of stuff in the classroom. So yeah, being able to articulate myself is very important to me. And like I said, it's been something that's I've been fortunate that I've been not only born to the parents that I was born to, because like I said, my dad very street smart, my mom very book smart, great combination. But like I just been fortunate to be around a lot of good people for sure that have like helped me. A lot of people that I was willing to learn from, um, and it's helped shape me into who I am today. And if I can be that for someone else, that's what I want.
That's a perfect segue, dude, because, you ask what the Human Hybrid Project is, and it is a project because it's never ending, because
Mm,
it's my journey, right? It's me. But then if these skills, these things that I put together for myself have helped me like step into that more fully and it's working for me, I want to share it
yeah,
because it's what
right.
I know, right? That's
Because
what a
who else
coach.
can it help? Who knows? And you don't know until you
Mhm.
do it. And you put that out there. You put that groundwork out there. Because that's why you do what you do.
Yeah. And so that's the calling, and that's why I'm rolling with that. And
I
it's
love that
I just want people to believe in themselves.
so
That's
much.
it, man.
That's so
That's it,
powerful.
because I've never felt more powerful than those, like, moments when you have true belief in yourself, whether it's what you're doing or, like, you're like, "Yeah, I'm doing it."
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
powerful, and I
It's
think that that's in every religion or every spiritual thing. I mean, isn't that really what we're seeking is belief?
yeah, yeah,
You
absolutely. And
know,
then like now, who else can I help see the light?
because it's within you too.
Yep. Yeah, because we were that person. I was that person for sure. I won't speak on your behalf, but I was definitely that
No, I
person that
was.
needed to be like shown the light. Be like,
And
hey,
there were
dude.
people that were like, "Hey, bad, bad. You're good though. You can do it. Get
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Go this way instead of that way."
Yeah, yeah. And that was one of the, it's funny that going back to books that we've read, Mind Gym, the book that I brought up, that was one of the biggest things was like, don't look where you don't want to go. It's like, absolutely. And that
Mhm.
relates to so much in life, whether it's sports, you like, don't look for a ball. If you're saying don't chase a ball, like mentally, you're playing games with yourself,
Yeah.
whether that's women or relationships in general, like don't look where you don't want to go. If you're in a committed relationship, stay committed. Don't have a wandering eye.
Especially in relationships.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're in such a day and age that I think that's why like divorce. I'm divorced. I think divorce rates are so high because it's so easy to get gratification from your DMs if you're bickering with your spouse. Instead of like my parents were stayed married up until my dad passed away. My grandparents were married for 100 years. Like obviously that's being dramatic, 100 years, but it was like 70 years. And it's one of those things like, yeah, because they sat down and handled it together. They didn't like flee to social media. They didn't flee to their DMs. They didn't like try to see like, well,
There wasn't as many exits.
exactly, exactly. And which good thing and bad thing if you look at it like so, because obviously there's a lot of relationships that probably should end.
Totally.
But I think there's too many opportunities. Paralysis by like too many opportunities.
Well, and it's easy. You don't have to try. You don't have to write a letter. You don't even have to like get on an online dating site.
Just drop a flame emoji on their story of them doing hip thrusts, you know?
Bam.
Yeah, and there's the interest.
Yeah, man. That was another big thing for me was I had to become a better partner.
Yeah.
Because it's like that feeling of hypocrisy. Like I'm sure there's
What a
been
terrible feeling.
like as a coach, it surfaces first as like, hey, you should do this for your fitness. You should eat this for your fitness, and you're not.
Mhm.
As the coach, I'm like, you're a turd, Michael. Like, how are you telling these people and you're not doing it?
Yeah.
And I know we all have these, but like that was the first moment. And then it was like I can lean into the things that I'm learning to help these people. Like sometimes my female clients would be like, "Well, what do you think about this?" And I would, you know, but then I'm like a half-ass partner to my girl. I was like, no.
Yeah.
And it was a big moment of like cognitive dissonance for me because it was like, yeah, I see it. That's who I want to be, but this is what I'm acting like.
Yeah.
And I had to flip that. And that was another big focus. And moving here to Austin was to go in and truly surrender to it.
Yeah.
Because just because I wasn't writing DMs, just because I wasn't like physically going there with someone else, my mind was in the DMs.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And so that was a big one for me. And I got so much fruit from it.
Yeah.
You know?
That fruit tastes good.
Well, just to see it.
Until it rots.
Just to see it in her.
Yeah.
Like see her like come alive because I've given, I've surrendered to our union.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a powerful thing.
And it is a very powerful thing. And it's equally powerful for the woman to see like, oh, this man's fully involved with me. Like this is my safety. This is my security. This is my person. And if you can like truly give yourself to that, to your partner, what a gift.
Yeah, man. And is it what being the defender, being the cook, being the strong man, whatever means nothing if she thinks you're just gonna pull that metaphorical rug because the grass is greener or whatever.
Yep. 100%. If you're not like, why would you expect your partner to eat up your bullshit if you're not walking a true path? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're putting on this facade of a leader and a cook and a teacher and all these things that a man should be in a relationship. But meanwhile, I know you have a wandering eye, and there's no security in that. There's no comfort in that. It's like, no, you should be able to give your partner all of what they need,
and the power you get. I think that's where the power of healthy lifestyle and the discipline of healthy lifestyle goes deeper, which is like the discipline of eating clean by saying no to the things that are so readily available.
Yeah.
That like delayed gratification, that's like ancient strength.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. How many like ancient cultures have practices of delayed gratification?
In so many different ways.
Yeah, so many different ways, for sure. Yeah, whether it's fasting, whether it's workouts, whether it's standing under a waterfall and just letting heavy water fall on you for X amount of hours. Like, there's a reward on the end of that. And sometimes it's sick, but it's like, it might be just the reward of like, oh, I survived it. Like, that's a reward.
Well, and I mean, I'm not complaining about the time and age that we live in, but we don't have challenges. We don't have to hunt for our food. We don't have to like fight for survival. There are people that do.
Yeah.
But I think it's innate in us to be challenged and do without.
Yeah. We
maybe
need to conquer.
Even on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Men and women, you know, and that's where the perfect entry point is fitness.
Yeah.
Health and fitness and the long game, right? It's not just about doing a competition or losing some pounds. Like, I want to do this for as long as possible. I want to redefine, and I already know I have. When I looked at my dad when he was 43, I was like, this dude is dead. He's like at least 3 months from dying.
Damn.
Just because of like when you're 18, you look at 43 is like they're dead, right?
Yeah, that's an old man.
And now I'm there, and I'm like, I'm just getting started,
dude. Yeah.
And it's because of the choices I've made in fitness, in mindset, in the people, all the things,
Conscious effort.
and I'm going, well, what's next?
Yeah.
How far can I take this?
What is next? What's next for Michael? What's next for the human hybrid?
Hmm. Well, I have something really exciting that I'm working on. Is kind of not necessarily a secret, but it just came to me. It came to me and to my buddy as far as like the direction of the human hybrid. And it's all 25 to 30 years of my training like has led to this.
Mm,
Like seeking the different modalities, doing the different things, failing, succeeding, what makes me happy, what gets results. And so it's like just this the apex of my training. I'm
yeah.
putting it together and I'm going to offer it like that. And so it's like, yes, it is going to be an advanced plan. I can help anyone. I know I can. But like this particular one is going to be like an extension of where I'm at currently.
Yeah.
As an athlete, as a coach, as a man, as a human. And it's going to like we were talking about it. Well, what's the thing that it has to pass? Is it going to make you believe in yourself? Is it going to give you purpose? Is it going to create an ironclad mindset? And are you going to feel good and be strong and do it for a long time?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And so yeah, man, I see it. I don't see it leaving on it anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like I have big plans for myself in my position there, like to help that grow,
Yeah.
not just myself but the team and like what we're trying to achieve there. And like I said, I went to Colorado to do these workshops. I see myself traveling and sharing what I do.
Nice.
The yoga, the landmine, the animal flow, the functional training, the hybrid athlete, all the things.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing that needs to be satiated is my world travel and like just
Yeah.
learning from other cultures.
Yeah. 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 And there, I mean, that's there are invaluable lessons to learn from those. And man, I remember when you put myself in the MMA team through a hybrid, or I'm sorry, a animal flow workout.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that stuff so much. Like, I am such a fan of that. I remember doing the durability cert for Onnit that had a lot of crossover. Obviously, still different, but
Hmm.
like a lot of like flowy. I always describe it as like athletic yoga.
Yeah.
Um, and it's something that I know, like in my own practice, I need a lot more. But it's like, man, it's so beneficial to everybody, specifically MMA fighters.
And there's so much value there for like just mind body connection. Getting on the ground, returning to play, and it's awareness. Like one
Yeah,
of the coolest things I heard was I never heard it put this way, but Christian McCaffrey was talking about ground-based movement. He was just doing some basic crawling patterns and stuff, and he was like, "It helps me
yeah,
land. When he gets upended, he has more proprioception in the air."
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
think
Yeah.
about it. I was like,
More
"God, that
body
is
awareness.
so
Yeah,
valuable for those athletes that are up in the air."
yeah,
He's like, "I can land like a cat now."
yeah.
I mean, it's such a good way to put that.
Yeah, I've seen videos of, Patrick Mahomes doing stuff, like, on a physio ball that like, just watching the video, I was like, "Oh, that just looks kinda weird," but it looks like kinda like I'm a big fan of, like, letting your athletes play. Like, whether it's for conditioning, like, I'll have the MMA fighters, like, play knockout in basketball for
Yeah.
conditioning some days. Let them be athletic, let them play while they're working. I think there's a lot it makes it enjoyable, they're gonna return to it, but they're also still getting cardio in. But there was something else, so I saw Patrick Mahomes doing this video, and at first I was like, "That's kinda weird." And then they show him taking a hit that put him in a very similar position as him, like, rolling on this, physio ball. And the way that his, like, hips and knees were able to kinda just collapse, like, controlled collapse as he went through the motion, I was like, "Oh."
That's how it translates.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, that's actually pretty dope." And so kinda to speak to that same I'm sure that's probably what Christian McCaffrey meant is like, I can roll with
Exactly.
these punches a little better because I know where my body's going.
Well, that's what I want from my people.
Yeah.
Like they need to be able to train on all planes of motion, and they will.
Mhm.
And they need to be strong in susceptible positions instead of being afraid to train in certain ways. Let's test it. Let's do it safely and get you strong there so your body feels safe to be strong there. And I call it full body tension, bulletproofing, whatever you want to call it. But like, can I call on my muscles in any position,
Yeah.
you know? It's
Yeah.
kinda what you just said there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, man, Christian McCaffrey, his workouts are epic. Like I've watched a lot of his stuff. I like his strength coach, Lauren Landau. I'm pretty sure he still trains with him, but he was the head strength coach for the Broncos for a while, and then Notre Dame. But like he used to train Christian McCaffrey's dad, Ed McCaffrey,
Mhm.
and yeah, you're familiar with the Denver area. Um, but anyway, I've been a big fan of Lauren Landau, so I've watched a lot of his stuff, and I see like these, especially like running technique stuff that like Christian McCaffrey goes through. It's like a full track
I
warm
was
up,
just gonna say he's trained like a sprinter up until now.
and it's because he doesn't have good levers to be a runner. Like he is long torso, short femurs, and that doesn't fit the best for like a running back or any runner. It's in general. It's so obviously going to be like quick and like shifty. But he has, if he didn't train as hard as he did, he wouldn't be who he is, and that can be said for a lot of people. But like his ability to like cut and all the agility that he does, like you watch his workout videos and you're like, that's why.
Yep.
Yeah, he is dedicated.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe more than damn near any athlete I've seen.
This says a lot again about coaching, right? He's still working with his high school track coach,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's like he could probably work with whoever he wants, and I'm sure he has multiple coaches, but he still works with him. And that says so much about our role,
Yeah.
you know, especially with our youth athletes.
Oh, for sure. There's so much, and it's kind of like the whole creatine conversation we had earlier. There's a lot that's changing as far as like youth strength and conditioning goes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, they should be moving some weight. Obviously, they shouldn't be like under maximal loads under certain positions, but it's like, no, get them on a heavy farmer's carry, get them
Mm-hmm.
doing walking lunges, doing thrusters or goblet squats. Like there's so much that like youth athletes that can should be doing. And I've had to have that conversation with parents before. I'm like, hey, your kid is at an age where he should be developing athletically, but he still looks like Bambi on ice. And
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that is because they're lacking proper structural strength.
Are you familiar with like GPP
Mhm.
and SPP?
Mhm.
Like that's where a lot of schools of thought think that Eastern Europe and like China and Japan, their athletes are so advanced in so many ways because they didn't pigeonhole them into one sport when they were young. They're like, go play everything.
Yep.
Go play everything, do a little bit of everything, and then when a talent reveals and a passion reveals, that'll be your lane.
Yeah.
But it's like they push their kids to just go have fun and play and get good at everything.
Yeah. Speaking of hybrid, because that's very hybrid.
That's how I
Um,
grew up.
look, do yourself a favor and look into Jackie Robinson's collegiate career at UCLA.
Yeah? Was he
Yeah,
just
it's
smashing
basketball, it's
everything?
track, it's baseball, and he's world class at all of them. I think it was football too. Like he was Bo Jackson before Bo Jackson.
Mm.
You know, obviously like difference in times as far as like what they had access to for strength and conditioning and athletic development. But he was like, you talk about Jim Thorpe, like he's Jim Thorpe like. He
Mm.
was like one of the first hybrid athletes that really
I'm kind of
just succeeded.
embarrassed that I didn't know he was more than just I mean,
Oh
obviously
yeah.
more than just a baseball player, but athletically.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't
Jackie
surprise
Robinson
me.
is that dude.
Does not surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the baseball field at UCLA is named after him, but and people know him for baseball. But yeah, you look back at his like overall athletic career, especially at UCLA, it's wild. Like he was one of those guys, and then another one is Tony Gwynn from the Padres. I don't. His was
Wasn't
basketball,
his like free throw percentage like the highest of San Diego State
dude.
of
Yeah,
all time or
he had like
something?
more career collegiate assists than career strikeouts in baseball. Like the dude was just a freak,
I
and
remember hearing that like recently.
yeah, he's top 3 greatest hitters of all time, maybe top 1. Like I'm hard to say. It's always hard to talk like generationally in sports. Sorry, like oh well, you know,
Ted Williams.
Ted Williams. Yeah, Ted Williams hit over 400. Blah blah blah. It's like yeah, but he's facing guys throwing 76. But 76 back in 1932 was 96. It still
Right.
looked hard. So it's one of those things. It's like oh yeah, Babe Ruth hit so many home runs. It's like off of dudes that were bagging groceries during the summer. You know, they weren't the dedicated professional. So again, it's hard to have that conversation. But I really, like, if you were to say Pete Rose, Tony Gwynn, Ichiro Suzuki, Ted Williams, pick the greatest hitter. I don't know.
I think that that's just a dope list,
Oh, it's yeah, exactly right.
you
That's
know?
that in my opinion. And then you could throw Barry Bonds in there. But those four that I named are the top four hitters in baseball history, in my opinion. Um, I really, to be fair, I make the argument a lot for Ichiro Suzuki as the greatest hitter of all time. He was just so nasty. So like
Just the way he could place it.
and
Bro, it wasn't just contact.
no, he was so nasty and so well rounded. A very good defensive player as well. But if we're talking pure hitting, like legend has it, like Ichiro could pop a home run whenever he wanted. Like if you watch his batting practice, it was legendary. So it's not like he didn't have the power. He just
He
he was
was
a
a
samurai.
surgeon.
Yeah, exactly. He was so obsessed with the art of hitting. And it's like you telling me he wasn't taking like, the 5 rings of hitting is
Mhm,
Ichiro, you know what I
mhm,
mean?
mhm.
Like that guy he was a ninja with a bat. He
It's
could
fun to
cut you
watch him
in
play.
100 different. Oh man. Yeah, that's a guy that like I hope enough but like people will like give him the knock like he had over 3,000 career hits in major leagues. But if you add his Japanese hits as well, I believe he's north of Pete Rose as far as like all-time hits.
Dang.
But obviously you can't include Japanese baseball because hard to say the competition was the same. And also it's a different sized ball. I think it's slightly smaller if I'm not mistaken. Um, but I don't give a crap about that. Look what he did. He could have gone. There's stats on him, and same for Tony Gwynn, where they could have gone like 0 for 700 at the end of their career and still had a 300 career batting average. It's like there's stats like that like you hear that from these guys, and it's like, oh, Tony Gwynn struck out 93 times in the 1990s combined, where you have like Aaron Judge struck out 210 times last season. So it's like you hear stuff like that, and you're like, fuck. And again, Tony Gwynn was another one that could hit the ball wherever he wanted. So that, like I said, do yourself a favor, look at Jackie Robinson's
I'm
career.
going to,
Yeah, because he's Jim Thorpe like for sure.
and that's so big to me is when sports speak past the game. Muhammad Ali,
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Robinson, of course, Michael Jordan, and I'm like Kobe,
Oh
how
man,
he's still speaking even
Mama mentality is a
wow,
thing.
wow.
Yeah,
I didn't really give him his chance. I mean, I was impressed and there was always respect, but like he was so philosophical and intelligent,
yeah, very intelligent.
you
I
know?
think he spoke a couple different languages.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. And didn't even go to, I mean, not that this matters, but he came straight from high school,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, and was the dude. Yeah, I remember the Kobe commercials like in the late '90s, like Sprite and whatever shoe like he was doing. Like I remember those Kobe commercials because it's like one of those things. I was like, this is a kid. I mean, I was a kid too. I was 12, 13 years old. But I still remember seeing that. I think another one that a lot of people kind of like throw shade on. That's one of those athletes that kind of transcended their sport. And it's hard to say because he should have had a better prime, but really shot himself in the foot. Is Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor made MMA so sexy for people.
Mhm.
He made it exciting. He was the Muhammad Ali. Like people would talk trash in MMA before, but like MMA fighters aren't known to be like the most, silver tongued individuals. And Conor would get out there and speak like intelligent trash, and he would get under
Uh-huh.
people's skins, and he's showing up in a fur coat, and he's brash, and he's out there. But then he's doing what he said he's going to do. He's like, I'm going to knock him out in the first round.
Did you hear him ever speak about like actually his visualization?
Maybe I don't know.
Like he was talking to Tony Robbins once and you kind of just put it to like he's done it so long, he's that confident and there's a little arrogance there, all of it, but like no, it's I think his vibrato and his persona on the microphone was a little staged by design because he's like highly intelligent in his
Very smart
process
guy.
and his belief in himself,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Because when he was talking to Tony Robbins, I was like, was he faking this whole time or is he faking with Tony Robbins? Because there's some zen in there.
Yeah.
It was
No,
impressive.
he was it's hard to say now. I think, he's done what every fighter wants to do. Make a bag and get out. Like he sold his whiskey company for like 400 mil, I think. And it's like, what is your drive to fight? Why? I get it. Like the warrior within you wants to continue to do that and continue to be the top dog because the view's great from the top. But I guarantee you, every fighter would be like, all right, would you rather have this great fighting career, or would you rather have like be a comet burning bright through the night, but for a brief time, and then just leave with everything you want? I think they would take that. Every fighter is fighting to get out. They're fighting to get out of their hometown. They're fighting to get out of poverty. They're fighting to get out of generational trauma, whatever the case may be. And it's like, cool. Connor did that. He went from food stamps to now he has a Lamborghini yacht.
Mhm.
And it's like,
And it's selfish of us because we're like, well, what about us, man? We want to see you
I
fight.
want to see you fight more. And I would love to see him fight more. It's still to this day.
Totally.
Because it's like Tiger Woods. When he's relevant, it's just more exciting. And that's why he transcends sport. That's why Tiger Woods transcended golf.
But then all of them, because they were so deep in the fame and the money, it snuck up in one way or another,
Even
you know?
Kobe.
Yeah, man.
Even Kobe got caught up.
I was
Everyone
in
does.
Colorado too.
Yeah, that was also in Colorado. Conor McGregor got caught up. Muhammad Ali, although I think Muhammad Ali had more like political things going on outside the ring that kind of caught him up, if you will. Like, yeah, he had to. What did he? I think he served jail time for dodging the
Refusing
draft.
to go. Yeah.
Yeah, which again is a political thing, but that is also something outside the ring that kept them from being as great as they potentially could have been. I'm not going to knock Muhammad all that for that because he didn't willingly go to jail, but that's a thing that is just an instance of something that kept him out of the ring. And you could say that about a lot of athletes, but the greats, kind of like we were talking about earlier, the greats have a darkness in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the ability to keep that darkness under control is what makes them great. Sometimes it gets out of hand. You look at Mike Tyson, you look at Conor now. It's like their darkness that made them great is now overpowering them because they lost control of it, and it's usually due to substances.
I love how Mike Tyson is kind of
Having a rebirth.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Good for him because if you would have kept going, it would have been you'd have been dead or something even
Sure.
more
Locked
sad,
up, shot,
you know?
OD'd, something.
Because he's like, it's not only like having a rebirth, he's coming back with some wisdom and some good stuff, you know?
Right. He's gotten like philosophical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's really, really interesting.
But he's still
see.
in there.
Oh, yeah.
You see him
That's
when
still a
you
very
see him, man.
dangerous man. I don't care what happened between him and Jake Paul. Mike Tyson is a dangerous man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wild. All
Where
right,
we
man.
at, man?
Yeah, that was deep. I liked it.
I did too, and I didn't know where we were gonna go, and I just like talking with you, man.
Yeah, same.
Sitting in the office doing that, that's what this felt like, and thank you for opening this up to me.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, I knew you had a lot to say, and I know that you've had a good journey, and you have a lot of good info to put out there. So I wanted to get you in front of the cameras, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad we could get it done. Now, tell the people where to find you.
Well, obviously, which camera am I looking at?
Let's look at this
Middle one?
No, that's that right one. Yeah.
Okay. So obviously Onnit Gym here in Austin. You can find me as Human Hybrid Project on all social media. And I will be providing links to some future things coming up at the end of this podcast. Thanks for listening.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Again, appreciate you coming on. That was great. Yeah, good time.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Lions Pit podcast. Again, I am your host, Nick Gomez. With me today is my good friend, Michael Palser. Shout out to the fine folks at LSKD for providing me with the finest workout apparel. Also, check out correctlife.com. That's correct with a K. This is Aubrey Marcus's new supplement. It's like the new and improved Alpha Brain, but better. It's something I truly enjoy taking. So again, correctlife.com. That is correct with a K. Don't forget to tune in next time, guys.